All right, so we got two billionaire CEOs that are now talking about getting into a cage and fighting. This is one of my favorite stories I think we've gotten a chance to cover in a very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk, and in what I'm assuming is a mixed martial arts bout. For context, so I guess Elon responded to Zuckerberg on Twitter because Facebook, Meta is rolling out a Twitter competitor now. And Elon said, "Meet me in the cage." Zuckerberg said, "Send location." A little quote from Khabib. Who do we have our money on, Zuck or Elon?
Dude, my money's on Zuck, dude.
Why?
It gotta be. I mean, dude, Zuck is, yeah, sure. Elon's got the reach. Elon's got the Neuralink in his brain, so theoretically, he could download an AI script to fight out the gate. But, like, Zuck actually has competed in hand-to-hand combat already. Like, my man throws on a gi, rolls around the mat with another grown adult already, just for fun. Elon's over here just pissed off that Facebook is making another version of, like, Twitter called, I think it's called, like, Threads. But, like, what happens when, like, Elon's tucked up in a pretzel? Like, this, dude, this is going to be chaotic. I need to know what the betting odds are. Because, like, if Elon opens up at, like, a plus 150, I might have to hammer the Zuck. But if Elon opens up at, like, plus 700, then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on Elon. Because he's going to tap into the Neuralink speed run training with some AI chips and be good to go. This is, like, I'm more excited for this than anything else, dude. Like, you got a robot. Dude, they're both crazy. Like, absolutely insane. I can't wait for this. But at the same time, like, are they just wrestling? It's a cage fight. So, like, can they punch each other in the face? Because Mike Tyson had the best quote. Like, you could have a game plan until you get punched in the mouth. And, like, imagine one of these guys getting punched in the mouth.
Well, we'll see if it actually happens. If it did happen, to me, I'm putting all my money on Zuckerberg because I don't think is there any athletic example of Elon Musk ever? Like, I don't think so. And Zuck is apparently a 3-sport high school varsity athlete, including fencing, which a lot of people will probably make fun of him for, but fencing is a combat sport. And now he's been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. And I mean, I'll go on record and say it. Zuck's going to get a black belt in BJJ, in Jiu-Jitsu. I can totally see it. He is obsessed with it, and he looks good. I've seen the tape. He looks pretty good. His striking, like the Muay Thai, that kind of looks a little rough. I'm not going to lie, but I mean, he'll work.
And you hear the sound he makes when he like connects.
Does he? I haven't seen.
No, I'm just making it up.
Do we think this fight is going to actually happen? That's the question.
No. Because honestly, that's the thing, is because I think they're going to get into a disagreement over the format, right? Because like if it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Zuckerberg's going to wreck Elon. Look at Elon's body frame. Like that body, like if he went into a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like setup, they would just say you can't train in here. Like it's just you're physically, like your frame just does not work with this kind of combat. I personally think it'd be more interesting if you threw in a bunch of random things and then they had 15 minutes to craft a weapon that would show their kind of entrepreneurial skills and their just kind of creative skills, and then they could just fight each other down. But in all reality, if they are fighting in most combat formats, you got to think the odds are heavy on Zuckerberg, and Elon's like a plus 500. Maybe if it was like kickboxing, like I could see Elon like throwing like a weird kick.
Oh, it'd be weird. It'd be weird for sure. It would not be graceful. Signal, I'd love to get a female's perspective. Who wins in this fight till death in a cage?
Like, if Elon has no experience of grappling or just face-to-face combat, you just got to give it to Zucks. If he does have experience, then I mean, he's got great reach because he's so tall. His body reminds me of Zangief. I don't know if you guys remember Zangief from Street Fighter. He was that Russian guy who was like he had a massive torso and then he had like quite little legs. Yeah, that's who he reminds me of. But like, I'm with you with the black belt on the BJJ because Mark is an overachiever. He wants to get like to first dan, second dan, whatever it is in his martial art. So I think he'll definitely get to black belt. He'll probably go into the dans. So if this goes to a fight, it has to go to the guy who simply grappled more and done more like face to face, being punched and like boom, taking it on the chin. Like, if you haven't done that, it looks easy in the films, but when you're actually having to hit someone or get hit, it ain't nice. So my money's on Zucks.
Yeah,
I mean, one of them, like, what are the chances one of them would cry? Like, if they got like hit too hard, like, you know, like they got.
I
hit,
think
like,
Elon would cry. I really do, and I'm an
I
Elon
actually was
fanboy.
playing- Yeah, me too. I was playing a scenario in my head where he's like crying and they're kind of feeding him whiskey between round 2 and 3, and he like gets in his head and he's like, "Okay, come on, get out there! Like, you can do it, man. You can do it." And then he gets his ass whooped that round 2.
I think that Elon would definitely cry, but I also think that this fight would generate an outrageous amount of money, like an actual non-negligible amount of revenue for Twitter and Meta. I mean, Meta makes more money than Twitter, but Elon needs revenue for Twitter right now, and I feel like it would be probably a $250 million revenue event or more. Someone was reeling off the numbers of the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather boxing match, which is just a terrible boxing match because you have one of the best boxers of all time versus a guy that never actually competed in boxing. And that thing made, I think, $500 million globally. And so you have to think that spectacle-wise, this is like a circus freak show type event. I feel like it would make a lot of money. Clemente, can you play the most recent Zuck video? Because so first of all, Mark Zuckerberg is winning me over so much. He's come such a long way from when South Park made fun of him. Do you guys remember when South Park made fun of Zuckerberg? They basically acted like he sounded like a robot because he would just repeat the same stuff over and over. He's a human now. He's definitely a human being these days, and he's winning me over. But he's been, taking martial arts super seriously. He went on the Joe Rogan podcast and talked about it. And he's just training with like the best fighters in the world, and just, kind of looking pretty good doing it. I don't know. My money's on Zuck. Clemente, you should pull up that video real quick. I got to turn the air conditioning on in my apartment. It is insanely hot in here, and I'm just feeling it right now.
Yeah,
but,
I hope they both beat the crap out of each other, because I just hate rich people, and I hate that they get to spend their time doing things like surfing and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and picking up new activities. I think everybody
living life.
Yeah, I think everybody should have a life that's as sad as mine. So I project and reflect against that. So
Chicks, question for you: if they each had to build a robot to fight each other instead of a physical person, Elon? Okay.
Elon 1,000,000%, dude. And his like robot would do some fucking innovative ass shit, dude. You ever watch those? Yeah, you seen those robot war things? Like, I watched that.
Yeah, battle bots.
It's so fun. Yeah, his thing would like fly off like a saucer and then like anti-gravity, like Zuckerberg's.
Dude, Zuck gets down.
We're watching, ladies and gentlemen, on the YouTube. We have the video of Zuck grappling with world champion BJJ practitioner Mikey Musumeci. He's the guy that went on the Joe Rogan podcast and said that he only eats pasta and pizza. And look, so now they're doing stand-up. They're striking. Zuck needs a little bit of polish on the striking front for sure. He looks rough, but with the grappling, he's definitely okay. We got a poll pinned on the Twitter show, so make sure you check out that poll on who you're taking. Last question before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the show: who is smarter out of these two guys? For me, this is a hard question. I guess I have to give it to Elon, because when people talk about Elon, they talk about how he can go high level in basically every engineering field, but he can also go low level. So it's not just that he understands like the aeronautic stuff, right? Like the rockets over at SpaceX, or the mechanical stuff, the mechanical engineering at Tesla, the thermomechanics, all that stuff. But he can also go deep on like software engineering. And I used to work with somebody that worked at Tesla, and she had a lot of things to say about working at Tesla and how intense it was and how ridiculous it was. Apparently, they were trying to hire this incredibly talented engineer, and Elon looked at his resume. Elon had to approve at this time. I don't know if he still does. He had to approve every single hire. So he's just like a Nazi about, control of Tesla, or at least he was at that time. And he took one look at the guy's resume and said, why the F would I talk to this guy? And they're like, no, Elon, we need this guy. This guy's unbelievable. We have to hire him. he said, put me on a call with this guy. He talked to the guy for 1 minute and was like, we're not hiring him. And they went around Elon and ended up hiring the guy. But anyway, apparently there was some really complex problem that a whole team of engineers, like the director, they could not figure out the problem for some, technical issue that they had to solve. And Elon got frustrated and he was like, give me all your materials. I'm going to take a look at it. He took all the materials home from the office that night, and he came in the next morning and dumped them all like on the desk and was like, there you go. The problem solved. Now, figure out the rest. So he literally solved the problem that a whole team of the most talented technical people in Silicon Valley couldn't figure out in an evening. So I'm taking Elon, but I don't know if you guys have different opinions on who's smarter, Zuck or Elon.
The only thing I wanted to add here, Pio, is Andrew Tate came out and tweeted out that as of this morning, goes, Meta banned me from everywhere for telling the truth about vaccines. I will train you, Elon Musk. You will not lose. So if they have until October and Elon Musk just starts training like there's no tomorrow, I feel like this could be a fair, close fight because he's kind of built like a pile of bricks.
That's literally, that's what I'm saying. If there's swinging involved, if there's upper body involved, Elon definitely has a chance. And I'm sure he can find some like research synthetics that he can put in like his joints that just kind of increase the velocity of some of those swings. Because as Pio said, Zuckerberg, he needs a round of steroids to really, honestly, to get a little bit more mass right here. And then he could start throwing some punches. He doesn't have enough mass right here to throw a good punch.
That quote from Tate is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's number one. Number two, the fact that Andrew Tate is weighing in. This is now just a representation of the internet. You got Elon and Zuck, two internet people, tech CEOs. You have a boxing match, which now the Logan Paul and Jake Paul have made it that all influencers, all internet people do boxing matches. And then now you got Andrew Tate in the mix. So this is just like, hellhole internet 101. Through and through. But anyway, anyone else on who's smarter, Zuck or Elon?
I was gonna say, I think like Elon against Zucks would win. Like the bit where fighters psych each other out, and they're like in boxing, they go really close to each other's faces and they kind of psych each other out. And they're gonna say, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna do horrible things to your family," and it's just like this mind game of trying to make your opponent feel scared. I think Elon would win that, and that might make Zuck be just a little bit off his game, a little bit off. Like that's his edge. That's his edge. He can just get into like Zuck's mind and just kind of screw with it. And then, you know what? He might throw a punch, goes a bit left, and it's over. So
have you seen the ones
where Elon.
Have you seen the ones where they like one of the guys kisses the other guy in the lips? Like I can see Elon doing that in the pre-match, just throw Zuck off. I'm like, whoa, dude, what the hell, man? What the hell? Yeah, I'll see you later, baby.
I like the mind game ideas. Someone's pointing out Bunny. Mr. Yellow said Bunny would be a dirty little fighter. Mirzda said Bunny would need a cigarette break every 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, you might not know, Bunny has a wrestling background, so he actually might be the most adept martial artist on this show. Bunny, who are you taking in this fight?
Oh, man, I think Zuck's a robot, right? So I think he's got a huge advantage within the fight. I'd probably got to go Zuck.
There you go. People are also talking, people are saying Nick is a New York brawler. I don't know about Nick in terms of like physical ability, but one time me and Nick were riding our e-bikes and a guy cut in front of him in a car and Nick's bike hit the guy's car. The guy gets out of the car and goes to Nick, "Hey, you should use your brakes." And Nick goes, "No hesitation. I had the right of way. Go F yourself." And the guy got scared, got back into his car and drove away. And that's a true story. And I literally said to Nick, I was like, "You're nuts." Because what if that guy was a maniac? You got no background.
Pulls out a sawed-off shotgun out of this guy.
Or just knows how to fight. Like,
or just throws a punch. Like, what if he just punched Nick in the face?
What I would say about Nick, I don't know if Nick can fight, but I can guarantee you Nick can get you into a fight easily.
Yes.
He was the guy in college you go out to the bar with. You walk away for 5 minutes, you come back, and you're like, "Oh, shit, here we go, dude."
There's just a mob forming. It's like, damn it, dude, another friggin' Wednesday with this guy.
I told him not to do the Long Island teas.
Well, there you go. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is a no call, no show performance from Nick, which has only happened one other time. And that time he slept. He like texted me at 9:30 and was like, "Oh my God, I slept through my alarm. Don't know how this happens." Wonder if that's what's happening right now. It's totally okay because we're having a lot of fun without him. But obviously, we hope that he joins. Anyway, let's get into the NFT section of this show. Ladies and gentlemen, the show is brought to you by BoDoggos, by the way. That's the Elenaa collection that's dropping next Tuesday by our very own Easy Eats Bodega. Snapshotted portal holders are able to participate in the pre-sale. It's live until Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. You can find the details to do so in the pinned tweet above. You have the choice to pay in ETH or SOL in a seamless mint process. It is also time for Allow List 1 and 2 participants to submit their wallets. If you have Allow List 1, if you have Allow List 2, go to the Nifty Portal Discord. You'll find the links under BoDoggo's dog list and the channel is called BD Buddies. Is that what it is? No, what is it?
Yeah, so we have buddies and dog list in there. Allow List 2's title, it's just based on the roles in the Discord. So AL2 is buddies, AL1 is dog list. So that's specifically for wallet submission. If you want to participate in the pre-sale, check out portal announcements. We have a whole bunch of workflows in there. We also have a way for you to check if you've submitted a pre-sale, to check what Solana wallet that you've submitted, because we've had a lot of tickets around people just confirming, people wanting to update a wallet. We have full workflows to manage everything. We know this is a lot of people's first Solana mint. We're extremely excited about that. We want to make it as seamless as possible for you all. The NFT will be airdropped to you on the 27th before it gets listed on secondary. So just be prepared for that. Make sure you get a Phantom wallet to connect to that and enter in the Phantom wallet address in order to have that airdrop on Solana. We're going to be updating that form every day around 4:30 p.m. Eastern time in order for you to check those. Presale ends Monday at 12 noon Eastern time. For those that do not hold Nifty portals, if you do have the Allow List 1 or Allow List 2 spots, that wallet submission ends Sunday. So make sure you're on top of that. Make sure if you're listening to the show and have any of those various roles, you participate in that, fill that out, complete that. We have a variety of moderators to help answer with any questions, concerns, issues that may arise. But we're really excited. I can't wait for it. It's almost time to let the dogs out.
Yeah, so you have until Sunday at noon to submit your wallets, no exceptions. And I just want to put one message out. I don't want to hear that I didn't tell you to go mint BoDoggos. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to hear that I didn't tell you. We're not showing any more of the art ahead of the drop. We've dropped 4 individual BoDoggos. We're not dropping anymore. There's 8,884 more that are going to come out. I don't want to hear that I didn't tell you to check out BoDoggos, to mint your pre-sale BoDoggos, to get in on the public sale BoDoggos. Don't come and tell me that I didn't tell you, okay? And I'm just going to be posting smirk memes ahead of the art drop. Anyway, we got the weather report. That's going to Kix. Kixie, let's rock and roll, baby.
You got it, coach, man. I'm just here. I'm ready to rumble. I got my nose strip on, oxygen flowing. Today is Thursday, the 22nd of June. Total market volume, 35.9 milli. Blur, 18.7. OpenSea, 5.4. That's a nice little rally off the lows, about 3.6. Looking over at the leaders, we got Apes, 38.4. They're below 40. Mutants just took a piss missile down, 7.5. 10 looks pretty far away from there. Punks, stablecoin, 50.9. Azuki chilling up, 16.7. They just don't move. It almost looks artificial. DGOT's 10.1. Captainz, 8.2. Pudgy's 4.5. Over the past 24 hours, Fortnite tweeted to its 15 million followers to go get the new maxed out max outfits. The collab between Fortnite and Nike.swoosh saw minimal pushback on Twitter, with commentators calling it a goated collab. Adidas paused its partnership with Ferocious, saying it's on hold for the time being after artists faced allegations this week. Paint sold off 20% on the news and now holding a 0.2070 floor. Gods Unchained, the collectible trading card game from Immutable, has been released on the Epic Game Store, one of the largest PC gaming platforms in the world, with a 230 million customer base. I played the game with Micah and Easy, had a good time. Accidentally dumped $500 into it. I need to go check on those cards. Lastly, over on Ordinals, Twitter influencer Elenaa lost the role of Azuki researcher in residence after she faced allegations of stolen art on her upcoming collection. As a result, she's temporarily paused the mint and is working to fix the images. You know what they say? Good artists copy, great artists steal. Elenaa took that to heart. It's a little messed up. People are judging her for that. Over at crypto, Bitcoin 30.2, ETH 1900, Solana 17.3, Ape 2.3. Those are good numbers. We like those, so we're going to send it back to you in the studio.
That's what I'm talking about, Kicks. Fantastic weather report as usual. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I did just get a text from Nick, and he did oversleep. So the second time that he's ever done this, I told him, don't worry about it, buddy. We got your back. We know you've been going around the clock to make sure that this BoDoggo's drop goes off without a hitch.
Theo, did you wear a nose strip?
Well, I think that so Nick loves products, and the fact that you have these nose strips, I guarantee we see Nick with a nose strip.
The thing with the nose strips, you're getting so much more oxygen into your brain. I've been dreaming in incredible dreams the last 4 days straight, sleeping beautifully. So I'm wondering if that's why he slept in a little bit, because he was just in dreamland.
It could be. I love hearing about Nick getting 12 hours of sleep. Anyway, some updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, the daily newsletter published from the Nifty.com. You need an account at the Nifty.com to claim the free NFT. So what are you waiting for? Go do it. You'll also subscribe to the newsletter in the process. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has affirmed Bitcoin's staying power as an asset class and emphasized the need for a robust federal role in overseeing stablecoins during a House Financial Services Committee hearing. Impeccable timing, Jerome. CryptoPunk number 9146 was purchased for 54.5 ETH and was promptly burned and inscribed onto Bitcoin in exchange for an Ordinal Maxi Biz allowless, making it the second punk burned this week. ZK Shark just wants to see the world burn, and he is getting his wish. That's two punks that have been burned in this process. Mercedes-Benz has unveiled a pilot in-car app that allows customers to display their own digital art in their vehicles by connecting their crypto wallets. I don't have a Mercedes-Benz, but I've been in some of these new cars that use apps and Bluetooth, and unless the car is made by a company called Tesla, it is a dumpster fire. So I'd imagine that is a dumpster fire. You got to license Tesla's technology, Mercedes. We don't want to use your in-house engineering team's take on this type of technology. Last but not least, Formula One racing team Haas has announced a partnership with Ranga and OpenSea for their entry into Web3, with further details to be shared soon. I saw the art that Dirty Robot made for this. It was dope, but we don't know what's going on with Ranga because there's 8,000 Rangas or something like that. And it's just purely an art project, not like a startup. And that's tough in the NFT space, man. It is tough to make 8,000 art pieces stay up. Anyway, that's enough from the Nifty Daily Digest. Make sure you connect your Phantom wallet to the Nifty.com. Let's get right into it. We got a little bit of drama. You know, we're going to get right through this, but Elenaa.eth, well-known thread writer, has postponed her Bitcoin ordinals drop. Kicks touched on it. Anything else to cover here? Anybody?
Yeah, just if someone's just randomly doing an ordinals drop, I automatically fade them.
Okay. I mean, ordinals is hot right now.
Ordinals is hot. I respect ordinals. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's someone like Nolish or someone like ZK Shark, you know what I mean? Like, those guys are actually doing pioneer stuff, or like Frank with the Dead Gods. He did the second, actually, all in a sequential block before 100K inscriptions, like all of that stuff. But all the other people that are just jumping on the ordinal bandwagon, I just see they're looking for that juicy exit liquidity. I mean, she didn't copy it, Pio. She traced it. Okay, there's a difference.
Well, there you go. Easy. Any thoughts?
We talked at length about this yesterday. It was kind of interesting to hear some of the comments. It sucks to see because there has been a lot of value provided through those daily threads and write-ups. It's helped me stay on top of a lot of things and see stuff. I did have an allow list spot. I should have sold it to Bunny before all this news broke. I would have been much happier about the situation, but now I'm stuck with that. I could have made a nice little flip off my friend. But yeah, I mean, some people out the gate were kind of frustrated with the 0.05 Bitcoin price. And then you actually saw Mulan, who had really released Abstra ordinals, which caused a little bit of drama about it back and forth, saying that you were taking ideas and some other key things. It's been just messy on the timeline, to be honest. it'll like it sucks. I don't really know how you kind of like now come back and be like, well, we're re-releasing this after all this FUD. And yeah, Azuki actually let Elenaa go as well. They had posted a few comments about that. So it seems like that's no longer the Azuki researcher in residence. It's quite the situation to say the least, but one of those things I had said a few weeks back, I felt Ordinal's top was in, and it seems like that's continuing to show, at least for the price action in the short term. I don't think Ordinals are going anywhere. They have staying power, but we're seeing less daily active users ramping as quickly as we are seeing the number of Ordinal mints day over day. So that usually signals a pretty aggressive top in the market.
Yeah, there you go. Bunny's got his hand raised. Bunny, what's going on, amigo?
I thought the most interesting part was that like there were like 10 side-by-side images that were pixel for pixel, just identical. And there was still a bunch of people who were like I need to see more information before I jump. I don't want to jump to any conclusions. Like people like will go to no ends of the earth to like suck off an influencer, like if they reply like GM to their tweets or something, right? Like, it's crazy, dude.
Thank you for that insight, Bunny. That was fantastic.
No, but I mean, that is actually relevant because like she said, she was like, I just traced them, which in my thought process is like tracing would mean maybe you like trace like the body frame, right? And then you add some of your own elements and colors on top. Pixel for pixel copy is not tracing in my book. That's copying.
Well, there you go. Sig?
No, I was going to say, well, first of all, it shows you how difficult pixel art is to do. So shout out to us pixel artists who come up with original work. But secondly, it feels a little bit overblown. Like we saw this happen with Ethereum that in 2021 and 2022, there were lots of mints out there where the art had been stolen. Other, big influencers did it. And I don't remember them getting this level of like hate, i.e. escalating to the point of like death threats. So it just feels a little bit overblown. But 2 years ago we were in a bull market, so people very quickly moved on to the next project, and currently we're in a bear market. And when you become the main character and you become the villain, I think the timeline is way more vicious right now because of the lack of because of the boredom that most people have, and they just put the spotlight on that person and rip them to pieces. So I think like, yeah, it sucks. She shouldn't have done that, but like doesn't need to go to death threats, people. It's it's only pixel art. Like, calm down on the timeline.
Well, yeah, you got really weird people in this.
Space loves death threats, man. I got them after just talking about a project on YouTube when they rugged back in December 21. Like, dude, this space, they're quick to fire those off with zero regard.
Yeah, really weird people in here. Real quick, Valgician said never become the main character. You know that I hate it when people say that. This has nothing to do with that at all. That's like if I just go and slap somebody in the face walking down the street. It's like you became the main character. It's like, no, I slapped somebody in the face. That was the problem. The problem wasn't becoming the main character. It was physically assaulting someone on the street of New York City. So
Sounds
anyway,
like something the main character would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Kix became the main character when he called out a 10-year-old kid for making a fake project.
I was right, dude.
But he was right.
Sometimes you got to fall on the sword, even though you're like, I'm right, dude. But just, for PR. Oh, I look fucking good, dude. I told my wife today, I said, I actually look pretty good fat. And she said, please don't get fat.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I showed her the Wall Street picture.
We're referring to our thumbnail artist is having fun. He made Kix fat on yesterday's. He looks like Paul Blart Mall Cop. He made him fat on yesterday's thumbnail, and people are running with the memes. Somebody has superimposed Kix's head on Elon's body from those beach pictures or the boat pictures that went viral on Twitter. Anyway, moving on. We got tomorrow Azuki Follow the Rabbit event in Vegas. This is a highly anticipated event, ladies and gentlemen. People have been asking us if we're going to this for over a month. We basically committed to not going to any events that aren't in New York City this year. We've been to zero because of all the action that we have in the ecosystem that we need to make sure goes off without a hitch. Not gonna lie, I wish we went to Paris. Not gonna lie, wish we went there, but maybe we'll go next year. We will be going to Breakpoint in Amsterdam, obviously, given BoDoggo's. But anyway, Azuki Follow the Rabbit event in Vegas, highly anticipated event. What do we think is going to happen? It's at Hakkasan. What's going on with this?
Good
Hakkasan's a
food.
great club.
That's what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Hakkasan's got great food,
club,
right?
dude.
No, but isn't Spencer going to this?
You bet he is.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on now.
Like I don't know. I just don't think they're gonna mess this up at all. I think something's cooking. Something's cooking. Something's gonna come. They were talking about the amount of community events that I think there's about 20 community events just around the main event. So obviously the core holders are super excited by this. I think it's a much, much better idea that if a community is strong enough that they can have their own siloed event away from something like NFT NYC. I'm sure when apes do their thing, they're going to see that same kind of level of interest that everyone gets really excited by it. And then potentially, like, you're seeing people on the timeline think that if they announce something, it's worth getting beans or Azuki's, if you've got the deep pockets for it, or using Benipple on Blur. So some potential trades to be done there, but I think the team's going to hit it out the gate. This is Zagabond's moment. He hasn't been around. He hasn't been like publicly out there since pretty much last year when they did the last event.
Yeah, I mean, look, Azuki is one of the top 5 projects in the NFT space at this point, and the team over there has inspired quite a bit of confidence in their ability to, just make people want to buy Azukis. It's a very popular collection. Easy, do you have any thoughts on this event and what will follow?
I think we're going to get another check your phone moment. Maybe not exactly word for word, but they've really been hyping up this. And like, this is one of the cooler things that I think with like communities in Web3 is I think there's 20 plus side events that are put on by the community at this. Like they've really gone hard for like additional events that the communities put on and not just for Azuki. So they turned this into like a little mini Azuki conference, it feels like. Like that's the thing for me where I'm looking at this. I'm like, that's really impressive when you have such a strong community that they're willing to not just pay for the travel, but also invest money, time, and effort to schedule events over 4 days, like 2 full days of events. And it sounds like it was like really well coordinated amongst the community to not overlap with each other. It's just a really cool thing to do. And it shows, honestly, like one of the quote best utilities of Web3 and like NFTs is this community forming aspect of like just people who are interested in the same thing, which is crypto and internet pictures. So I think that's probably the coolest thing I'm taking away from this. I do think we're going to get something from Azuki here because they've been quiet, too quiet.
Yeah, and guys, if you're going to do this digital collectibles thing, right? Like I think that a lot of you get the crypto crowd that has no actual real conviction and is just trying to make a short-term trade to make fiat money to pay off like their overdue credit card bill. And that's like, over 30% of the people that are, on Twitter on a day-to-day basis. But like the reality is like we're building digital collectibles organizations and franchises, and Azuki's done quite the good job of that. And if you look at the traditional collectibles market, then you see that conferences and in real life events, Comic-Con, all these things are really big events. This is basically a 2-day mini conference from Azuki, more or less, right? When you kind of think about it that way, where everybody's going to get together. The one thing they have in common is that they own Azuki collectibles. As long as you stick with that one thing that they have in common, then you're off to the races. It's lights out, and it'll just continue. So you have to expect Bored Ape Yacht Club to do this, Azuki to do this, and the other people that are taking digital collectibles really seriously, D-Gods, us, right? BoDoggos, obviously, right? And our ETH PFP that's going to come out subsequently. And then there's a couple other names that you can drop that are actually going to be doing stuff like this. But like, if you're Azuki, you have to do this. You have to get people together in person and basically say, yeah, we're a collectibles brand and we're going to do in real life things like Comic-Con type stuff. Obviously, year 1 out the gate, year 2 out the gate, you're not going to have a festival or a conference that's as big as Comic-Con. But you can go and rip, 2 days in Vegas and have it be a really good time. So I think it's going to be no joke. Kix, did you want to get a word in on this before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like I'd probably put D-Gods as like best house partiers, and I would put Azuki like best clubbers, like hands down. So like Vegas, Azuki, like that's gonna be absolutely lit. Have a blast, everyone. I'm excited to see the news going out. And if you're going to Vegas for the first time, never buy drugs from people that whispered in your ear as they walk by. They will 0% chance be legitimate. Buy it from a club promoter, if anything, if you don't have Yeah. So just a
Is
little
this financial
word
advice?
of wisdom. I don't want these people getting scammed out there, but have a blast if you're going. I'm excited to see what they reveal, and I bet you the party's going to be epic.
Well, there you go. We will see how it is received. I'm predicting that it's probably going to be received very positively. The Azuki community is very passionate. They love those digital collectibles, and that is the single most important thing in the NFT space. Is people just got to love the collectibles, man, and they have to believe in the brand from that perspective. And the sooner people can understand that that's what's going on here, the sooner they'll be able to kind of operate in the right way. Anyway, next, speaking of big collectibles brands, we got Captainz reveal that is being speculated it's going to happen this month in June. Captainz put a poll out yesterday asking if people think that the Captainz will finally grow up in June. This follows a teaser from the weekend. We got several Captainz holders on this show, myself included, me and Easy, and I believe that's it. But Easy, what do you make of this? What do you think's going on?
Yeah, I mean, that's been like the big speculation is the next phase of this reveal coming this month? And next week, there's a ton of stuff going down. So I don't know if they kind of sandbag it to the start of July. Because next week, we're supposed to get D-God Season 3, Ute Season 2. We're supposed to get this Azuki event tomorrow. There's like 5 mints on Sol that have some speculative hype. Obviously, BoDoggo's being biggest. Come on now. And there's a bunch of other key things kind of going down. So for me, I'm like, do they run with this despite like forging from Yuga and some other things dropping, where I kind of want to see if we actually get this. We started getting a teaser yesterday of like just some eyes for one of the characters, and it looks solid. It looks like they're taking the anime route and going. I think, I don't quote me on this, but I may be saying this correctly, incorrectly. One of the artists from One Piece is involved, popular anime. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if we get it in June though.
Well, there you go. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only Nifty Nick joining the YouTube show. How many hours we got today, Nick? Is this a 9-hour Nick situation?
That may be the case. That
Might be a 10-hour Nick today.
No, I don't think it's that long because it's not 10 a.m. But
you went to bed at midnight?
I went to bed a little late last night, and
was there ice cream involved?
No, there wasn't. There is not a junk food situation. Yeah, I saw. I pulled a Clemente. That was what happened. I sent Pio a text this morning. My alarm. If it did go off, I like maybe in the middle of it was just like, turn off. Literally just went back to sleep. So yeah. Hey, sorry, boss.
There you go. You're back, Nick. Any thoughts on the the Captainz reveal before we move on to crypto? It's actually perfect that you're here to talk about crypto.
Well, the Azuki party, watch out. Just be careful about the drugs because they're putting fentanyl and everything nowadays. And then on the captain situation, what can they possibly? There's a degree of. What can they reveal at this point, actually, is something I was thinking about.
A PFP?
Yeah, I know, but like, they've only, how many changes have they made to the metadata? Like, it hasn't been an evolution, you know what I'm saying? Like, it hasn't, like, it's not like a thing's been growing and we're about to see the outcome of what it is. I'm sort of curious about, like, what PFP would they reveal right now, you think?
Well, I mean, the cool thing about it is that it's not like the art with that particular collection really isn't the driving, the thing that's going to drive forward. I mean, it is and it isn't, right? Because it is going to be an anime art style. And so that's going to be probably received very well from the audience. But I don't think that that's necessarily the single catalyst. It's more just the overall execution of 9gag and the continued rollout of all this different stuff, including the token, which is the biggest draw, right?
I think that's the biggest driver and probably why they're setting that up so that this thing can sustain. Although there's a lot of dynamics that they're going to need to reveal because they have a lot of different tokens in their ecosystem. And so I don't know. This is easy. Did you sell yours?
No.
I didn't either. I didn't either.
No.
Dude, you got to follow your own
It
rules.
didn't list, and then it promptly went back down. So now I'm holding.
Although I will say with the price of ETH going up right now.
Yeah, it's a $16,000 floor, and that's without any epic maps.
Can you believe ETH is at 1900s, Pia?
Well, that's the next thing that we got to talk about.
That people pay attention to, right, is ETH. They don't pay attention to anything else. So I've been just looking at the price of ETH on a repeated basis. I've been trying to find any other relevant cryptocurrencies, but I can't find them. They don't exist.
I only look at the security ones that were outlined in the document. So like Filecoin, BAT. Yeah, very big fan of Sand, Mana, Axie, all those good securities.
Here's the crazy thing. So ETH and Bitcoin both looking nice. Your boy's losing money on his Solana trade from yesterday. I literally like top ticked Solana, and it's like pulled back significantly.
You got the worst fill
where
of
I
all
was.
time.
Like,
But isn't that an exchange issue?
Yeah.
no. I mean, I put the limit on there, so like I still was willing to pay up to that.
Got it.
But like, so that's partially on me. But like, I was just looking at the price, and everything else has gone back up to its peak since then. Solana has not. Look, I don't think I'm going to lose money on this trade. I'm not super concerned about it. Bitcoin right now, though, is literally stuck at its resistance point that it hit back on April 10th and April 17th. I'm looking at the weekly right now, by the way. This 30,003. Where am I at? 279. 30,279, somewhere around that, between that and 300, whatever, is like the level that it hit before. So it keeps like pinging off of that, and I'm curious where it's gonna, if it can stay above that on the weekly. Right now, it's just finding a lot of resistance right there. But
well, Nick, if you want to know the two biggest gainers on the 7-day, number one, Pepe.
You're kidding, Pepe?
Yeah,
Up
it's up like
1% in 24 hours, up 90% on the 7-day. Second best gainer, Stacks. 2% on the 7-day.
Wow, Pepe is looking ridiculous. Can we go to the 1 year on that? Go for a longer period.
Wow. Pepe's cooking, huh?
All of the people, there were a lot of charts people going around and people making fun of the chartists who were saying it's going to break out.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah.
Dude, the chartists, man. I make fun of the chartists. I can't do the chartists, dude. Like the whole like I predict the future. It's like, dude, you'd be like a billionaire if you were actually good at this.
No, it's just a piece of insight,
Mm-hmm. I like to just buy Bitcoin a lot and then not sell it and then let time go by and then the number goes up. It's kind of it's a really complex thing to do, but it's like you buy it and then you don't sell it and then the number goes up over time. It's interesting. It's really hard. It's like as hard as doing Murph with Zuckerberg, but yeah.
I bought Bitcoin at 45K, so I'm still waiting for that price go up point.
Well, keep waiting and it's going to happen. Anyway, so what do we think that this is going to sustain? Because now it's clear that we're going to get a Bitcoin. It's a foregone conclusion that we're going to get a Bitcoin ETF. It's a foregone conclusion that there's institutional adoption and acceptance from the Fed of the, of crypto assets in general. Or do you think that we see another pullback? I mean, Easy was talking about Q4 as an ideal accumulation period.
September Q3. Yeah, it's been 1 year pre-election. Has been my yelling from the mountaintops. I've been saying Q3, September, sub 200 days Bitcoin
Isn't
halving.
an election in November?
Yeah, but it's usually the start of when all the campaigning gets really aggressive. Is the start of Q3, 1 year prior.
I mean, they campaign the whole year, but yeah.
But that's when they really ramp, like to TV commercials, everything else, and that's usually when they got to turn the market around to make it seem like the current sitting president has done a great job. With regardless of who's in office, they always tend to run that cycle and that play. So for me, that's like sub 200 days Bitcoin halving. Usually the start, bottoming is formed. We've made higher lows every single time since the FTX collapse, though. And I had posted a picture of like some Lord of the Rings meme where it was like, hope is the dangerous thing. And I was like, was the FTX bottom the actual bottom? And now we've just been in this depression boredom phase for the last 8 months. And it's starting to look like that may have actually been the situation. Like everybody's pushing for a Bitcoin ETF now. Like even the funds I have no, like Wisdom Tree. I thought Wisdom Tree was like a loan provider for like low credit scores. And sure enough, they got an ETF for Bitcoin. So now there's like Valkyrie just launched one with the best ticker I've ever seen. The ticker's BRR, BRRR. Like that is gold for a Bitcoin ETF. So I'm a fan of that. They're all applying. We'll see which one gets approved. I think the BlackRock one will be the first. And then EDX launched, centralized exchange backed by Charles Schwab, Citadel, Fidelity. So it looks like they're really trying to push off anything that they don't have control over from a traditional finance side of things. It's going to be really interesting over the next few months here as some of this starts to come to a head. And Coinbase has to hear back in 120 days on their suit.
Well, there's no question that the bottom is in. No question that the bottom was in with FTX. How could we possibly go back to that price from here? It'll never be that price again. It might never dip below 20K again, which actually would make sense because this was the first time that at the bottom of the cycle, we actually dipped below the previous all-time high. So we hadn't seen that before with Bitcoin. So that was like, kind of new. Kicks, were you going to?
Yeah, I just think that, I mean, there's that age-old saying, right, that that like, the start of bull markets, basically like, bad news doesn't make the price go down anymore. And like the top of bull markets, usually like good news doesn't make the price go up anymore, right? So far this year, we've seen two big bad news events. One was the whole Silvergate Bank, USDC, right, issue. That was in March, right? So we had a big sell-off that day and then a massive rally. So that's when we went from like 24K to 20K up to 30K, right? And then this second wave of bad news events was the SEC, Coinbase, Binance issue. That surprisingly actually barely made the price drop. I mean, on alts it did, but on ETH and Bitcoin, barely made the price drop. And then same exact thing. Right after that news resolves, price shoots up. So it definitely seems like that the market is not taking bad news as price goes down anymore, which I think is like, a very good sign. Yes, alts got wrecked. But also at the same time, I like to like temper my excitement on these things and also frame them against just like the overall market. So I bought Facebook stock and Ethereum at the same time. And this was when Ethereum was about 1250 and Facebook stock was 120. And Facebook stock has outperformed ETH over this time. That's not trying to say anything bearish at all. My point being is that part of what we are seeing is just like liquidity flowing into all markets. That's not FUD or bearish or anything like that. But like Bitcoin has done a double, phenomenal. ETH's done like a 50%. That's awesome. But also there's lots of other things out there that have done very big runs. NVIDIA, I think, did almost like a 4X. Tesla has done a massive run up. So I like to kind of frame, right, like what else is happening in the markets to keep my, feet on level ground.
Hey, and real quick before I go to Nick on that, the Facebook sell-off was because they rebranded to Meta, right? And it sold off with crypto because people were like associating it with the metaverse. Zuckerberg then even said, I think he said like basically it was a mistake or like a miscalculation. He basically just like kind of succumbed to it. But then you get the repricing because obviously Facebook's Facebook and it doesn't matter that they rebranded to Meta. And honestly, their whole VR thing is like a step in the right direction. So that's why this one ran again. Nick, what were you going to say?
I was just going to ask Kix, is he wearing a robe? Is that what he looks very futuristic right now?
It's like a modern cut hoodie.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the brand name because someone asked for it in chat, but it's very comfy. Pure
did you buy it or did your wife buy it for you?
No comment.
It looks like one of those hoodies. Like I get where you're going. It protects the throat from any sort of like attacks, especially in this chaotic world.
Yeah, it just also doesn't like show my my little chip that I have here that I installed a couple of months ago. That's why I've been just performing at peak performance.
Oh, very cool. So real quick, it looks like a hoodie out of a video game, like a modern video game where you're like a sleek character that roams the streets at night, like doing vigilante stuff.
Movie. Yeah, that's what it really is from well, back in the day, you would have been like from 2023 or something like that. But now I guess we're going to have to push that out a bit to maybe from 2043 or something, where it's borderline post-apocalyptic, and or, the corporations run literally everything, and that and people no longer work, and you need to find out alternative means of survival. And so what do you do first? You go look for a nice futuristic looking hoodie.
Exactly. It's either built, BYLT, or cuts. It's one of the two.
Built, B-I-L-T?
Trendy names.
Okay.
Trendy names.
Trendy names. So Groovy T he said Kix looks like an Azuki. Daniel Meras had a different comment. He said Kix looks homeless almost. Interesting.
A homeless person would wear that, but that's interesting.
That's a trendy
Maybe the
homeless
nose strip.
person in New York City. Like, you're just being like, yo, I'm an artist, though.
I would say they wouldn't have a running hat like the one that Kix is wearing right now. Like, the combo is a little confusing for me, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, a little flashy. No, I feel
Little
that.
clashy. It's okay. And Miguel Ribeiro said no comment equals wife. I thought the same thing. Look, we're going to get to our animation in just a second in our free NFT, but Nick, I'm glad that we have you here. Just a quick run on this. We started the show talking about Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk in a cage match. Are you aware of this?
I thought that was fake.
Very real.
Very real.
Very real.
That tweet is real?
So Zuckerberg screenshotted it, posted it on his Instagram, and just said send the location.
What? Wait,
Yeah.
so
And
who
Elon's
posted the
tripled down.
first message?
So it was actually on a response to a space, and then Elon responded to the comment that someone made tagging him, and he said, yeah, I'd be down. Like, I'm down to get in the cage. He said, cage match, Vegas. And then Zuck screenshotted that. I'm up for a cage match if he is. And then he said, send me location on his story. But there's been a bunch of other stuff in which he's
How
basically
does
said,
Elon have any chance that, like, Zuck's been training?
dude, Elon's like 6'4". Like, he's not a small guy.
Okay, but the guy only works. Like, it's not like, have you seen the photos of him like on a boat where he's hanging out?
Do you know what the Neuralink can do, Nick? Are you
Yes,
familiar with the
It's going to be
Neuralink?
the Matrix, Nick. They're just going to plug all of Bruce Lee's skill set into him.
You got to do a sideways version of this, Clemente, because like literally like his
gut.
Yeah, it like protrudes. I don't know what the deal is there, but it almost, I mean,
It's called pectus evectum. I have it.
okay.
You can see he has it if you view this picture.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, I don't know. Keep in mind though, also Elon definitely does growth hormone or like testosterone. Like, he's not clean. So we'll have to, he's in his 40s, Zuck's in his 30s. We'll have to get the testing pool going for this one. But Nick, so is it safe to say your money's on Zuck?
Well, I don't know if the height differential is that significant and weight differential is that significant and they're in a cage match. It's going to be interesting. That said, I think form really does account for something. Like, that's like being like that a professional fighter. I want to take the extreme version of this. A professional fighter could not beat up a regular Joe off the street who's never been training. And that's the most ridiculous claim to make, basically, because all this person does, a professional fighter, is literally train and figure out how to utilize their body in every single scenario. And Elon's just not doing that right now. And I don't see like him putting aside the same amount of time that Zuck has for training. Like, I just don't see it happening. Now, I don't know how
Who
much
initiated it, Nick? Do you know?
it's got to be someone else that like did it. And Elon, knowing Elon, he actively like replied to something because he's often a dumb idiot on Twitter. And so Pio acts like he's not. Like, he's like borderline Donald Trumpian with his like tweets, basically, except Donald Trump doubles down on his statements. Elon occasionally is like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have Twitter. Like, Trump's
Probably
like,
shouldn't have Twitter.
yeah. So
Does it make a difference to you that Andrew Tate tweeted out that he would offer to train Elon Musk because Meta has banned him from Instagram?
well, it's going to be hard as he's going to be put back in prison. So I don't know. That's like a difficult thing. I don't know. Like, he probably has a limited amount of time before he's back in jail, but maybe. I don't know. And I don't know that I mean, Elon Musk training with Andrew Tate would be
Viral.
quite a phenomenon, I think, on the internet. So, I mean, it's interesting. I just and look, if he does get some degree of training, like there's no telling when this is going to happen, and I don't think that either of them are going to train like a Jake Paul or something like that. So, like or like someone who's continuously focused on like this is their life.
Zuck's like making it his life in a bit. I think Zuck wins this.
How many hours is he putting in every day?
Not as much as Jake Paul, because Jake Paul is acting like he's a boxer full time, but Zuck is like legit. Sig?
I know. I think Elon would have the Tom Cruise strategy. So, like Tom Cruise, when he does his Mission Impossible, at the end, you find out that he learned to fly a helicopter in 30 days, but it would actually take the average person 8 months. That's what Elon Musk is like. He will learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu in 30 days, and Mark would have taken like the last 12 months, and that's how the match becomes equal. So he's gonna do the Tom Cruise strategy that I am much more intelligent and just have higher brain function than the average person, including Mark. And he does have that weight height differential, and that's a real red herring. You don't know, like you just he could easily knock his chin out.
Just work the distance. I also think Elon's not going to respect the ref on the tap out. I think if he gets him in a leg lock, arm bar, you're going to hear a pop, guaranteed. He's not gonna let that tap out, and
that limb is done. Well, thank you, Nick, for the insight. We're glad that we got you on that. It was very important.
Blog about Facebook, and that makes me perfectly qualified to speak on this subject matter. So that's something. Anytime, guys.
There you go. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the premiere of animation number 4 in the BoDoggo's First Litter series. For those of you just listening, you'll get the audio. If you want to see the video, Clemente will pin the tweet. This is for the Twitter audience. The YouTube audience will be able to see the video. Anyway, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's rock and roll.
Sunlight, no fresh air, no windows at all. No birds singing, no breeze, no sounds of the streets, no one to call. No sleep, no peace, no decent food to eat. No clean water, no soft bed, no warm blanket or pillow for your head. Just a cold concrete floor instead, in a world that don't care if you're dead. Muscles ache and cramp and spasm from being caged. Vision blurred from broken bulbs, low lights, low life, low watt LEDs flicker up and down the hollow hall. In the quiet moments, you can hear the hum of the electric fence outside. Outside, you may never see, just another reminder that you're not free. You'd think those quiet moments would be the worst, but you'd be wrong. The worst is the sounds, the primal howls of pure animal pain that leave a stain on soul and brain and can't be washed with soap nor rain. It's hard not to complain when you've been restrained and contained and stripped of your name. Just a pawn in a game that you never meant to play, where you don't know the difference between night and day. You hear yourself say, it's okay, I'm okay. Even though you know it's a lie, you tell it just to get by. Close your mind and your eyes and go deeper inside. Buddy had a dream that night in the pound. He woke up and knew how he and the BoDoggos were getting out. Remember that CB radio he swiped off the dog catcher? When he unscrewed the antenna, it turned out to be the perfect tool to pick the lock on his cage door. When it popped open, his heart soared and Buddy felt like the luckiest dog in the world once more. Till he remembered where he was. He had to free his friends fast. Now was no time to celebrate or to hesitate. Just as he started picking the next lock, Buddy could hear the dog catcher's heavy boots coming closer down the hall.
Damn.
What's about to go down?
I hope you guys enjoyed that, ladies and gentlemen. Clemente, we got a free NFT for people, yeah?
Enter the password escape1, ESCAPE, and then the number 1 at thenifty.com/claim to claim today's free NFT.
Are
And
they going to escape? Did somebody tell me?
We'll see. We'll see. We're claiming that right now. Go to thenifty.com/claim.
Giveaway today as well.
Escape1, no giveaway today.
Why? We need more giveaways.
All right, tomorrow there will be a giveaway. We'll make it up for.
Well,
for
2x the giveaway tomorrow.
How about that? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, go to thenifty.com/claim. Use the code ESCAPE1. So ESCAPE and then the number 1. That is for today's comic page. Hope you enjoyed the animation, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoy the comic book page. And we will be back tomorrow. Easy. Let's give them reminders before we leave right now on the BoDoggo's pre-sale, the public mint, everything.
Yeah, so just to run through it as well, if you do want to participate in the pre-sale and hold a Nifty portal, go into the Nifty Discord or check the pinned thread on BoDoggo's NFT on Twitter. Full workflow for that with the link. You can also go to presale.thenifty.com. We took that snapshot on Monday at midnight. You have until Monday, this upcoming week, at 12 p.m. Eastern time before we close off the pre-sale. It's $80 US, fixed cost. So with ETH pumping, you're actually saving a little bit on the ETH cost if you've been sitting on that sweet ETH. But in addition to that, if you have Allow List 1 or Allow List 2, we've started wallet submissions in the Discord. So please go there and submit with that if you do have those Discord roles. On top of that, that ends Sunday, I believe at noon as well. So pre-sale there, wallet submission, minting on Tuesday. And then on top of that as well, if you want to pay in Sol for the pre-sale, we do have the ticket system. You can check what wallets you've submitted, full workflows in the Discord. So that's the center of all truth here. The source of truth is right in that Nifty Discord with everything. We have moderators on hand to help with any questions, concerns, calls to action, etc. So go take care of that. Time's running up. Go get the dogs. We're letting them loose soon.
Go get the dogs, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to hear that I didn't tell you to do it. Anyway, that's our show. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Show's also available on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. It's also available on Apple and Spotify podcasts. If you want to share the show with people outside of the Twitter bubble, then definitely share those. All the links are available if you click on and follow the NFT Morning Show. It is the account that's hosting this show. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the free NFT today of the comic